Welcome everyone to this conference call from the iBUG session on October 17th, and this is episode number 555. My name is Marie, and I'm going to be facilitating the first half of the program tonight, and then Sandhya Rao will be taking over on the second half. We welcome you all here. This call is pertaining to all iOS devices, and that includes iPhones, iPads, Apple Watches, Apple TVs, and iPod Touch. Only these items are included, and this is to help further your expertise on using the accessibility features on these devices. And right now, our favorite lady, the iBUG lady, Sandhya Rao, is going to do some important iBUG announcements.
Oh, welcome, Marie. We are so happy that you're here tonight, and thank you. Great job. Okay, so we got a busy week, people. Every day we have something to do. Okay, so get ready. Let's get started. Everything is on Zoom unless specified otherwise, and everything is Central Time. All right, today is iBUG Buzz for the next 2 hours. Stick around. Tomorrow, iBUG Mac Buzz on Clubhouse from 5 to 6. Wednesday, Android Insight, all questions relating to the Android platform, Google devices, and A-ladies, and it's a pretty fun call. Lots of things that you can, pretty much all the things that we can't talk about here, you can talk about over there, right? That's from 7 to 8:30 on Wednesday. Thursday is Trekkie Talk from 8 to 9:30. It's the Next Generation, Season 5. And I believe it's episodes, well, I will get back with that. But those of you who are on our special mailing list, you are getting those information. And if you want to be on that list, send an email to us and we will gladly make you a part of that conversation. Okay, then Friday, iBUG Night at the Virtual Movies. So at the top of the hour, we will announce the clues and some fabulous prizes. So stick around till 8 o'clock for that. So that's typically the audio described movie starts at 8. The social time is 7:30, and then we have discussion and trivia to follow. And then rounding out the week is the iBUG Apple Workshop from 2 to 4. Got some great presenters, and come out and support them. And we're going to be trying a little bit of a different format this time. So come and check it out. And, as always, we'd love to hear what your thoughts are. Okay, what's our social media? We have a website, ibugtoday.org, ibugtoday.org, best place to get all the information. Go to the upcoming tab. You can also register. Then you get all the email notifications, all of our services and registration. Everything is free. So there's no reason not to join and, get on the list. Then we have Twitter at iBugToday. And we have Facebook page, facebook.com/group/iBugToday. That's the group page. Let's see, we have an email, ibugtoday@gmail.com. We have a YouTube channel, iBugToday channel. So you kind of see a little pattern here. You can also listen to all of our training sessions are recorded and archived. They're available on our website. They're available on the YouTube channel. And if you want to use your smart device, either the A lady or the S lady, you can ask them and they will play the devices. Our various, you have to kind of be very specific as to which podcast you want to have. They're all divided up depending on if it's the Macintalk or the Android Insight or the Apple Workshop or the iBUG Buzz or the iBUG Cafe. All right, so, and we've actually recently done a demo of that. In case you missed that, we definitely encourage you to visit that. Okay, I think we covered all that. And so back to Marie.
Okay, and before we get started on our fantastic questions for tonight, we'd like to go around the room and have each one of you introduce yourself, tell us where you're from, and be sure and let us know if you're new to these calls. Go.
This is Dee from Southern Illinois, And
Hi,
Marie, you're
Dee.
sounding great.
Thank you.
Vanessa from
I'm sorry, what was that?
Julie
What
from
was your
Vanessa
name
from Georgia.
again? Welcome.
I think we got Julie and Vanessa. Okay, keep going.
Yes.
Pete, Jacksonville.
Hi, Pete.
Janet, Colorado. Good job, Marie.
Hello, Janet.
Hi, Marie. It's Judy in Connecticut.
Hi, Judy.
Carol
Gary
from
in
Houston.
Austin.
Hi, Jerry in Austin.
Carol from Houston.
Hi, Carol.
Dan,
Jody in
Southern
New
California.
Hampshire. Whoops.
That was Dan, and who was the second name?
Jody in New Hampshire.
Oh, hi, Jody.
Hi, Marie.
Marvin in Chicago.
Welcome from Chicago.
This is Sandhya in Houston.
Welcome, Sandhya.
Thank
Is
you.
it snowing in
Certainly glad
Chicago?
you're here. I'm sorry, who's in Chicago?
I said, is it snowing in Chicago?
Oh, is it snowing in Chicago? I don't know.
This is Greg in Texas.
Hi, Greg.
Marcia from Sarasota.
Hello, Marcia. Are you new?
Well, no, I've been coming, but I usually say Daytona Beach, but I was flooded out,
Oh,
so I'm
okay,
staying with my
okay.
daughter.
Okay.
Sharon from New York.
Hi, Sharon.
Hi.
Is that everybody?
Maybe
Anybody else who
for
hasn't
now.
introduced themselves?
That sounds good for now, I think.
Okay, and we have no new participants. All right, who's ready to give us their first question? If so, unmute yourself, state your name, and I will recognize you.
This is Dan. I don't have a question, but I'd like to make a comment that might be helpful.
That's fine, Dan, go ahead.
Okay, yesterday I was trying to fill out a form on a website to make an online appointment. I was using an iPhone and VoiceOver and Safari, and VoiceOver would not let me get into the edit fields. Just no way, no matter what I tried. So finally, I found this link and I switched over to the desktop version of the website, and then I was good to go. I filled out the form, no problem, got it submitted, got my acknowledgement this morning. So I just thought I'd pass that along. That might be helpful. I don't know. So HGH, hope that helps.
Okay, thanks, Dan. Okay, who has our next question? There are no dumb questions. Any question that you answer is a good question. It's the ones that you don't ask that are bad questions.
This is Jody.
Go ahead, Jody.
Yeah, well, first I want to make a comment. I just noticed on the Zoom app that it's been updated, and to the right of participants, there's now two new buttons. One is raise hand and the other is share, where before it used to have participants and then more. So I just noticed that. I just thought I'd pass that on. But the question I have is, I am looking at my Gmail on the Mail app on my iPhone, and lately it's just been like bouncing around and acting strange. And I wonder if anybody else has noticed that. I'll delete a message and then it will pop back up again, and or I'll go to open one message and it will open another that's next to it, and it's not acting consistent anymore. And I wondered if anybody noticed it.
Okay, who's got an answer for Jody?
Pete.
Is that Pete?
Yes,
Go ahead.
thanks, Marie. My go-to on whenever somebody says voiceover is jumping around is to check screen recognition,
Oh,
voiceover recognition.
yeah, yes, thank
That
you.
plays,
Yeah,
I don't know why they haven't removed those options or hidden
okay.
them. So they're harder to,
Well, I'm not the only one with that problem, but I think somebody else will comment on that. Thank you very much.
sure.
Okay, next
Go ahead,
question.
Dee.
Okay, this is Dee.
Okay, Dee.
Okay, Jody's calling me out here. I had an issue with my BART app over the weekend, and it wasn't, it wouldn't say the rewind button, and it would just say FF. So I figured that was fast forward and a couple of other buttons that would not read. And I was trying all kinds of things. Then I go in my rotor and I look, sure enough, screen recognition was on. So Jody got a laugh out of that. So now, Jody, it happens to all of us.
Yeah.
Check
Now we both have the
screen
same problem.
recognition if things aren't working right. That's all I can say.
Sometimes that happens. Hey, somebody else have a question for us?
Yes, it's Carol.
Okay, Carol, go ahead.
I'm kind of new to using VoiceOver. I had a text message, and below the text had a link for me to get more information, and I could not get into the link. I didn't know how to open the link. I tried doing the rotor and switching to links. I just didn't know how to open the link.
Somebody have a question, response for Carol? Come on, somebody's got to
This
know
is
how to
Dee.
open a link in a message. Go ahead, Dee.
I was going to say, usually a link, if you just tap on it, should take you where where it's trying to take you to. Should
Yeah,
open that.
I kept hitting it, but nothing would happen. So I didn't know what I was doing wrong. So, okay.
This is Pete.
Go ahead, Pete.
I just wanted to add that I've had that problem periodically too in the text messages. For some reason, and I don't know a solution, sometimes when a link is embedded into a text, it will not open. And I think sometimes what I resort to is like forwarding it to my email or trying to copy the entire text with the forefinger, the 3-finger quadruple tap to copy the entire text and then paste it into an email. And even that doesn't work all the time, but it's problematic every once in a while. Doesn't happen all the time, but sometimes it's impossible to open the link when it's in the text format. I don't know why. So you're not imagining it.
Okay, well, thank you.
This is Sandhya.
Go ahead, Sandhya.
Yeah, I just wanted to also reinforce that you were doing, I mean, your first instinct was to go to the rotor and navigate by links, and that's perfect. I mean, that's normally what I would do. But yeah, like Pete said, every once in a while, sometimes I've tried to navigate by words to try to hopefully get to the link. I mean, yeah, there's always some weirdness, but you are absolutely right. So good job.
Thank you.
Okay. Do we have another question?
Hi, it's Vanessa.
Hi, Vanessa. Go ahead.
Hi. In the announcement, the announcer mentioned that we can hear these on the Lady A. We can listen to these recordings. So do you say Lady A enable? iBUG, or you have to say the number because everything is like number. This is session 500 and something. So I wonder how do you do that? What do you have to say to her?
All right, this is Sandhya.
Go ahead, Sandhya.
Okay, these devices are kind of finicky, all right? So let's start with that premise. Sometimes I think Siri behaves better for whatever reason. You have to make sure that your Apple, like for me, I try to make sure like my Apple Music is linked to the A Lady. That seems to help the situation. And so we could use Siri. Siri seems to work a little better than the A Lady, but I mean, the A Lady used to work, but what you would just say is, S Lady, play the iBUG Buzz call, and then she'll automatically go to the most recent, no, play the iBug Buzz podcast. And then she will go to whatever the most recent one is. The other, so that, another thing we've talked about is like having the, that's a good way, but like I said, like these things can be rather temperamental. So, I don't want you to say, she lied, she told me it worked and it didn't work. So don't be upset. It's not you. I mean, there's so many things that have to kind of be aligned, but they do, when they do work, they're great. Okay. So you just have to play with the words. And like I said, each of our podcasts, we have a separate feed for each of those. So if you only want to listen to the cafes, you could say, S Lady, play iBug Cafe podcast. And it should work. And the same should apply to the A Lady, but she's a little more temperamental. And the other quick way is to put all, if you use a podcast app, we use like the native podcasts, and then all of them can feed into there, and you can always have access to those there. All right, I know it's a long explanation, but I hope that helps.
No, but yes, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Yeah, but great question, and try it out and tell me what you find, okay? All right.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, can I have a quick question on that subject? You do have to set up the iBug podcast in the podcast app first for that to work, correct?
Right, for the podcast, for them to feed into your podcast?
Yes.
Yeah.
But I mean, before you can get Siri to play them, they have to be set up in the Apple podcast app, or no?
That's a good question. Not sure. I have them there, so I'm not sure if that's a factor. So we're gonna have to try that.
Okay. All right, who has our next question? This is going so smooth. I'm sorry, who's that?
This is Marcia.
Okay, Marcia, go ahead.
Last week, I think it was Shri or some sweet person told me how to get into ACB and be able to join Zoom. And I said I was going to do it every day so I could remember. And I did get in, but I can't get out. I don't know how to get out.
Okay, does somebody have an answer for Marcia?
This is Jody.
Go ahead, Jody.
Are you wondering how to get out of Zoom?
I'm trying to, when the either if I want to get out early because something happens, or at the end of it, I don't know how to get it to close off. I've had the only.
If you go to the upper right hand corner of the screen, there's a leave button, or if you go to the upper left hand corner and then just keep swiping to the right, from left to right, then you'll hit a button that will say leave, and then do a one finger double tap on the leave button.
Okay, I will try that. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else? Okay, next question. Has anybody tried
This
a
is
new
Marty.
app? Oh, go ahead, Marty.
It's not really a question. It's just a comment on, because it's been talked about, the AirPods Pro 2. I just got a pair, or I just got that headset, and it will charge from the watch charger. That's one of the features of it. The magnetic charger for the watch. And I had a little problem with the volume, but I think I figured it out. And also a little side note, I know we're talking about iOS, but for anyone that has, for some reason, when you pair it with a Victor Stream or a Victor Trek, the audio doesn't work. on that device with those AirPods Pro too.
I think it wants you to use an Apple device.
Hmm?
It probably wants you to use an Apple device.
No, you can, because I actually did pair it with my
Mhm.
Fire tablet and that works.
Oh, okay.
It's just a little more convoluted when you pair it. Well, all of these Apple headsets, like the AirPods, any of them, to pair it with a non-Apple device, you have to hold with the Pro or you hold the button on the case a few seconds, and then that puts the headset in pairing mode.
Hmm. Yeah,
The
that
first
works.
pair, you don't have to do that. Yeah. Other
Right.
than that, they work fine.
Okay, good. How's the sound on them?
Well, how do I sound? I'm
You
talking
sound
on them
fine.
right.
You sound
Yeah,
great.
I'm talking on them right now. The transparency, which was what I was concerned with, is the same as the older AirPods Pro, because I like a lot of headsets will give you the outside sound,
Hmm.
but on the AirPods Pro and Pro 2, you can actually amplify the sound.
Hmm.
Like I've got my TV turned down and I would hardly hear it if I didn't have the AirPods on. But with the AirPods, I can actually hear it comfortably.
Okay, thanks. It's
So,
nice to know. Anybody else
okay.
have a question for us or a comment? Anybody has a new app that they've tried that they'd like to recommend or not recommend?
I have a question, Miss Carol.
Okay, Carol, go ahead.
A couple of months ago when I was on a call, there was a gentleman that mentioned how I think when he was in Kindle that I don't know if he double tap or he did something and music would start playing. And I didn't speak up because no one, had a solution. And it happens every now and then with me still. And I always have to boot out of my iPad to get out of it because there's no iTunes open. There's nothing open. So I don't understand what I'm doing to make that music start playing and if that came up again or not.
Okay, does somebody have a answer for her?
Yeah, I think I might know what I had this kind of
Could you give us
this.
your name,
Oh,
please? Excuse
yeah.
me.
Sorry, I forgot to introduce myself, but my name's Thomas Boobolts. But yeah, I kind of know what she's talking about, like because I would do this
Mhm.
one gesture, and sometimes like my music would start playing. Like what I usually do is I usually shuffle my music in my music library because I'm an iPhone user. And so what would happen is, so I'll shuffle my music and then I'll close my music library, the music app. And I found out if you actually double tap with 2 fingers, that'll actually let you basically start playing the music, basically, or you can do it again and it'll like stop the music. I think it's called Magic Touch or something, I believe. Or at least that's what it said when I did the voiceover practice. But I don't
Okay.
know. But yeah,
Okay, Thomas,
that's
thank
probably
you.
what's happening. But I don't know.
I'll
Yeah.
try that.
Okay, does anybody have any further comments?
Gary.
Go ahead, Gary.
Yeah, I have this happen. In some apps, I can double tap, do the magic tap, and it will close them. But for example, uTunes, I have to, if that's the last app I've used, I have to go in there, open the app, and then go to the app switcher and close it. So if you can't get the magic tap to work, you may, if you remember if you're like in Apple Music or something, I think it probably will. I think the magic tap will work on Apple Music. I need to try that actually. when it's been closed. But sometimes you do have to go into the app. So if you can remember which app you were in last, just go into it, open it, go to the app switcher and close it, and that'll stop it. But if the magic tap, 2-finger magic tap doesn't work.
Okay. Anybody else? If not, I'd like to give a little advice. I've been using for an iPhone for quite some time, and sometimes the magic tap just starts music no matter what you're doing or where
Yep.
you are, and you don't have to have your music open.
No,
I
you
mean,
don't.
it can be totally closed, and sometimes you still get music. So it
Yeah.
happens to all of us.
Yeah,
You're
That's
not
what I was
alone.
talking. I would just, that's
That-
just
yeah, that's-
exactly the
that's
situation
right.
I was
Okay,
talking
you
about.
need to say your name before you speak, please.
Oh, sorry, my name's Thomas, but yeah, I'm just saying, yeah, that's right. That's exactly what happens when I use the magic tap.
Mm-hmm.
When I have music close it will start playing the music if I use the magic tap, even if it's closed.
Yes.
Yeah, I was just saying sometimes, even if it's closed, Gary here, that you may have to go into the app if it doesn't work. Most of them seem to, but some may not. So that's all I was
It's Roy.
saying.
Okay, Roy, go ahead. This should be the last call on this. I mean,
Okay.
last response on
If,
this subject.
if all else fails, you can always go to your control center by touching your status bar and then doing a 3-finger flick up. And you
Mhm.
have audio controls there for pause, play for the last item that was playing.
Mhm.
It's just another way.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Thank you. Okay, we have another question. We seem to be moving right along tonight. Is anybody updated to iOS 16 and have any comments, pro or cons?
This is Candace.
Hi, Candace. Go ahead.
Hello. I don't think I've met you before. I haven't been on here in quite a while. I updated to iOS 16.1, I believe it is, or 2.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just curious. I was reading some information on Facebook in a different iPhone group, and someone had mentioned that they've noticed, because I noticed when I updated that dictation really worked well. But now I've noticed that it's not as good as it was whenever I downloaded, what was it, 16.0. I was just curious if anybody had any feedback on that.
Okay, can anybody help Candace out on that? Okay, if nobody has a response, I have found that now 16.0.3 is out because I am running 16 on one of my devices, and it has fixed some of those little bugs that are going on. So you might try going ahead and downloading that latest update.
Yeah,
It
I'll
still
look at
has
that
some
because
issues.
I don't know if I have downloaded that update, Carol.
Okay.
Started a new training at work, so things have been crazy. But this weekend is first official weekend off, so I'll stay and play with it.
Okay, so you might give that a try. I'm finding problems with activating notifications from the lock screen. They don't seem to.
I can't do that either.
Mm-mm.
That was another thing I was going to mention, and somebody said they thought that had been fixed, but I cannot access any notifications from the lock screen.
None of the latest. It hasn't been fixed for me anyway. Okay, does anybody else have a question or any other responses to Candace's problem? Come on, guys. Somebody has to have a question.
This is Pete.
Okay, Pete, go ahead.
Maria, I'm sorry I was late on the unmuting. I wanted to add one comment to Candace's issue.
That's fine.
I have also found, Candace, that dictation is a problem. I think I noticed it when I first updated this to the first 16.0. I found that dictation was not identifying or hearing what I was saying as I had said it. So I found it to be a problem. And there's also this thing, I mentioned it last week, in the settings called auto punctuation that may be activated. It's in your settings. If you go into your iOS settings, go into general and then keyboard and then flick down and you'll find a heading or an item called auto punctuation. And it's an effort by Apple to do exactly that, to auto punctuate your dictation. So instead of having to say, this is the end of the sentence, period, or, I want to get an ice cream sundae, comma, and an ice cream float, period, then it will punctuate or attempt to punctuate. My voiceover is jumping out of focus, which is another problem. But it will auto punctuate. It will try, and it doesn't do very well at that. So sometimes I wonder if it's confusing. I don't know if you do your punctuation religiously or not, and say your commas and your periods and your exclamation points and all of that. But it might conflict with the auto punctuation
I
feature.
do occasionally, and one thing I think too is interesting about this, Pete, is that when 16.0 came out, I have noticed that dictation worked very well. I was quite surprised.
Yeah, I heard somebody say that too. In fact, she was on this call a few minutes ago. Judy commented that it was very good, but I don't know if it went downhill in the next update or the second to the last update or something like that. But it's horrible.
This is Judy. I am here too
Okay.
to say something.
Hey.
Yeah.
Oh, hello,
Hold
Judy. I've talked to you
Hold on
before.
just a second, Judy. Okay, Peter, are you done?
I am done. Yeah, I just wanted to comment that I'm not having a lot of luck with it either.
Okay. All right, Judy, go ahead.
Thanks. So yeah, when it first came out, it was really, really way better than it had been for a long, long time. And I am not on the very latest update. I think I'm still on 16, I don't know, 01 or something, whatever it is. But anyways, what it does now, I have the English guy, Siri, and he does not hear the first word in a dictation. Like if I say, hey, Pete, all he gets is the Pete. He doesn't get the hey first. And I've seen that constantly. He doesn't catch the first word of the dictation. So so I'm interested. I think I'm going to definitely update tonight and see if that changes. But yeah, it was really good at first and now it's gone downhill again. So I hear you there, Candace.
Okay, does
Thanks.
anybody else have any responses about dictation in 16?
Yeah, this is Thomas Bubots. Yeah,
Okay, Thomas?
I kind of had like similar problems, but like it's kind of like a little bit of the opposite, where like one thing I noticed when like I say like when I start a sentence and I say I as in like just a capital I, it always like tries to add O in front of that. Like it'll say oh I instead of just I. So it's like, yeah, it's kind of weird. It adds, instead of like leaving out words, it will like add extra words for some reason. Yeah.
Okay, Thomas. Anybody else? Okay, let's have a new question. I hear silence. Sometimes they say silence is golden, but in a call like this, it's not. We need questions and answers. You guys speak up. And remember, the response is just, if you have a response or a comment about a new app, a new
Oh, this is Candace. I just
device.
have one quick question, Carol, for either you or Sandhya. I don't know who
Go
would know
ahead,
the answer to
Candace.
this, but I'm just curious. When I logged onto the Zoom meeting today, I tried to log on through the Facebook group, but wasn't able to for whatever reason. And when I had to log on by going to the iBUG website.
You tried to log on first from where? I'm sorry.
From the Facebook group.
Anybody here know anything about the Facebook?
This is Sandhya.
Go ahead, Sandhya.
So you clicked on the link from the announcement?
Yes.
Okay, and it just, what did it do? Nothing
And I
happened?
tried to swipe over to where it says launch meeting,
Uh-huh.
but that did not even appear Sandhya as a link.
Okay, we'll have to check that out. I've never heard of that. I don't see why it wouldn't be the same thing, because, okay. Well, thank you for pointing that out, and then we will test it out. So then you went to the website.
Yeah, so then when I went to the website, I was able to join. I don't know. It's just weird.
Okay.
Because I've been able to join Zoom links before from Facebook.
Okay, okay. So you've joined other Zoom meetings from there?
I mean, not lately, but in the past I have, yes.
Okay, well, that's good to know. So we will try to test it out, and thank you for letting us know, okay?
Well, text me and let me know what you find out just so I know.
All right, thank you, Candace.
Okay, next question. We have a whole room full of experts today and nobody has a question to ask.
This is Helene.
Oh, hi, Helene. Go ahead.
So I have this Apple Watch 8 and I still have it much as a mystery. I would like to know how because there's voiceover, whenever I ask anyone to help me, they are sighted and they can't help me. So does anyone have like the simplest way of saying touch the crown, then swipe, then do this? Something that they can teach me. If I learn one thing a week, I might be able to master this by, I don't know, Christmas.
Anybody have any help for Helene and her watch? Okay, some watch users chime in here, please.
Yeah, this is Greg.
Oh, hi, Greg. Go ahead. Help us out.
When I got my Apple Watch, I was kind of in the same boat as you, Helene, and I actually went to the AppleViz website, and if you go down to it's a new watch, and they have new iPad and all that stuff, but go to the new watch section. And there's a series of just short little podcasts that David Woodbridge did that talk you through how to use some of the basic features. The downside is they're very old, but you still can pick up a lot of just the basics, and they're very short little demos.
Okay. Thank you.
Hey, anybody else have any help for Helene? I know that the watch is, I've used the watch before. It doesn't suit my needs, but they can be very frustrating and hard to learn.
Well, this is Sandhya.
Go ahead, Sandhya.
Yeah, I would, just kind of think back to, the gestures. I mean, a lot of the gestures and so forth are basically very similar to what you already know. So that's the beauty of the, the whole Apple ecosystem. I think, you can translate what you know. There will be some, you'll learn how to, I mean, there's a dock, there's a, you can navigate swiping right and left. You already know how to do that. You know how to invoke Siri. I mean, so it'll just like, you'll start, maybe just start by seeing if you can get it to tell you the time, and just wanted to say that we will be having a awesome cafe all about the Apple Watch. So that should be coming up soon. And I mean, we've done one in the past, but this is going to be updated. But like Pete said, Greg said that there are other, there are resources out there. So you're not going to break anything. I mean, just explore, and try it out.
Okay. And I do want to say one more thing. I got home on Saturday from being away for a week at the leader dog for the O&M immersion. And it was absolutely wonderful. And at the graduation of this event, I did a shout out to ibugtoday.org, spelling it out, and to Jody Iannuzzi for getting me there, because both of those that really changed my life. That training, if anybody is thinking about, well, I don't want a dog, but I would like to be better with my cane, I have to say this was so fabulous. I can walk up and down an escalator. I can go on a walking sidewalk, and I can just more or less, walk up and down stairs with my cane easily. And I have really, my goal of leaving my fear there really happened. So I am so grateful to the iBUG group and to Jody specifically to getting me to know that there was help out.
Thanks, Elaine. That's really great.
Yeah,
No,
wow.
mobility training is one of the best things that I ever did for myself.
Yes. Yeah, really. So, and they invite you back. You can go back if you want there. They say if you need more, you just give us a call.
Okay. Where are they
Thank you.
located?
They are in Rochester Hills, Michigan.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Celine.
They were. Thank you.
Okay, who's next?
This is Jody.
Hi, Jody. Go ahead.
Thank you, Helene. They also have O&M at Guide Dogs for the Blind too. But it sure beats going up and down your driveway, that's for sure.
Yeah.
This is Pete.
Okay, Pete, go ahead.
I just wanted to get back to Candace about the Facebook link. I just left the meeting here a moment ago and went over and tapped on the, first you got to obviously open the post that Sandhya dropped into the Facebook group and open it. And then I flicked down and there were a couple of links in there, Candace, that did not work. But if I continued to flick down, there's actually it's like 4 or 5 of them, it seemed like. But I went down to the very bottom one, and it gives you an option to copy and paste a link into Safari or Chrome or any of your browsers. But if you flick past those, then you will have another link and says tap to join Zoom. And then Facebook will ask you, or at least it did with me, if you want to leave Facebook. They always do that, and go to another app. And I tapped yes, and they said Facebook wants to open Zoom, and I tapped yes, and was clear sailing from there. So I think you got to try a bunch of them, and the very last one is the one that worked for me. And Sandhya, I don't know if that's a new format that you've used with that post. I don't remember having to flick through all of those different join links. And
I don't remember either, Pete, because I'd accessed that previously through the Facebook post. So I don't remember all those links. That's why I was like, this is interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks for that, Pete.
Persistence pays off, though.
Okay, next question. Come on, guys, you can ask about your iPad, your iPhone, your Apple TV, your Apple Watch, your iPod Touch.
This is Dee.
Go ahead, Dee.
Okay. I've been using an iPhone for a long time and never had troubles with the App Store. But they've changed things around in there now. Used to, you could see right on the page there in the App Store when you selected an app or just reading down through there, you could see the price of the app. Now it just says get all the time. Sometimes I'm not quite sure what I'm supposed to do. And then I had this thing pop up the other day there and asked for my Apple password. So I put that in, and then up pops up Google asking me to sign in with the Google thing, and I don't want to go in there with Google. But it actually let me in through the Apple password. But what's the big deal? Everything just says get now and doesn't have the price there until you get on in there or something.
This
Okay,
is Jody.
somebody, go ahead, Jody.
Yes, get means it's free. There is no price. So it used to say free, and I don't know why they changed it, but now if
Right.
if it's free, it just says get. And so you don't have to worry about it costing anything. It'll
Okay, so
only have the price if there's a fee.
This is Shri.
I'm sorry, who is that?
This is Shri.
Oh, go ahead, Sri.
Hi, Shri.
Yeah, so what you have to listen for is in-app purchase. Just because it says get, you may get a limited version of it.
Sorry, we had to mute. We're getting something background noise. Okay, so whoever you want, Shri, you can continue. You should be able to come back in.
Go ahead,
This is
Sri.
Shri.
Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'm actually in a room here, but
Okay.
if you see the word get, that doesn't necessarily mean it's not going to be free. What you want to listen for on the app is in-app purchase. That's probably going to give you an indication that there is probably going to be a cost if you want to get a more in detail version of that app or not a rundown version of the app. But typically when you go into the app, instead of using the get button, you swipe right once and get more info, you'll see a section where it'll tell you how much the app will cost if you had to purchase it. That was it.
Okay.
Okay, thanks, Sri.
I think David this is Sandhya. I think David also had a comment. David, you want to come back?
David, go ahead.
Yeah, this is David. I was going to say what Sri said, but a lot of these apps are free to use the basic version, but then you might want to pay for extra services. Even some of those like blindness apps, you can use it basic and then pay for an extra service like that. What's that one? Well, that other one went free, but used to be with like that Super Sense. I think you could use part of it free and you had to pay for the other part or something like that. That's just an example.
Okay, anybody else have some comments?
Okay, this is Dee again.
Go ahead, Dee.
Okay. What Shri was saying there, I think it was Shri, something about the get, and then he said something about swiping to the right and they give you more information. Is that what he said? And then tap on that to find out more?
This is Shri.
Go ahead, Shri.
So when you go to the App Store and you find the app that you're looking for, you're going to get the title of the app, then you swipe right, you'll either get, re-download, update, or open. If you continue to swipe right, you're basically getting the description of the app. But in order for you to get into it, you're going to have to double tap to select it. Then you'll get like some information about the app, the app builder, who it is. And after that, you'll see a section that will tell you what additional costs will be associated with the purchasing the app. If you go into that section, it'll tell you what the cost is. And it's probably right above where it gives you other apps that this particular developer sells. That's where I usually find it.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Shri. Anybody else? I think sometimes when you have an app on the App Store that does have some in-app purchases, in other words, you can purchase more services once you are into the app. Sometimes you get that prompt to install the app. You don't always get that, but sometimes you have to sign into your account and then press install, even though it's a free app. Okay, any other questions? We're getting close to that famous halftime event.
This is Jody with a quick comment.
Okay, Jody, go ahead.
Yeah, I've recently, I can't remember what app it was, but I recently downloaded an app and it was Get, so it was free to download. But then after I downloaded it, I went in and it was $8.99 a month if you wanted to subscribe to their service. So it was like, nope. But it was free to download it. It was just not free to use it. So I think that, yeah, I think
Which
that's
is kind of
the difference.
ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So I think some apps, have a fee, like for example, Voice Stream Reader. So you pay for the app and then you're done. There's no more added expense. Then there's these other apps where they're free to download, but then once you download it, you have to subscribe to their service. So yeah, you just have to be careful.
True.
And then of course there's also the apps that are free to download, and then the app has ads. And if you want to have it ad free, then you pay a fee. Usually it's minimal, but you can make the ads go away, and like a pedometer app or something like that. So you just have to be careful what you're doing.
Okay, thanks, Jody. Any other comments or new question? Are we all proficient with all of our devices? I was going to say that, like I say, I have 2 devices, so I was able to update to iOS 16. I'm not ready to, I don't think it's free of enough bugs that I don't want to upgrade my primary device just yet because of the problems like on the lock screen. If you say a message pops up, well, normally you can double tap on the message and open up your messaging app, and then you can usually put you in the field to go ahead and respond if it's an iMessage. But so far with iOS 16, none of your notifications on the lock screen, you can double tap on them, but it does absolutely nothing. It won't open up anything. So you've got to bypass that and go ahead and unlock the screen and go into the app if you need to make a response of any kind. That's kind of annoying. I'm not having much trouble personally with the dictation feature. I'm finding that it's working pretty well, but maybe that is because I have upgraded to the latest release. And they did fix some things. However, like say the notification thing's not been fixed. Those are kind of the major things that I've run across so far. For the most part, it's pretty good, and there's some nice things, and the new voices are very interesting. So, who's next?
This is Dan. I have a question for you, Marie.
Yes.
About that update. You were talking about dictation. Did you have to go in and turn the that punctuation setting where it says auto punctuation on? Did you have to turn it on?
No, I found that it was on by default.
Oh, good. Okay, thank you.
And it works reasonably well. It's not perfect, but then none of us is perfect. So it works pretty well, I think.
This is Pete.
Go ahead, Pete.
Just another caution to Dan. You turn it on, just double check your work.
Yes.
And what I do, Marie, is listen to the message in its entirety when I'm done with it, and I'll hear pauses in the weirdest spots, and that represent a period or a comma someplace where I wouldn't have put it. And,
yeah, I'm
my
trying to.
grammar is perfect.
Excuse me. I'm trying to do the same thing, is to listen to the entire message myself so that I can, kind of monitor what's going on.
Yeah, you can hear subtle pauses and realize that there's something there that doesn't need to be.
Correct.
Good.
Anybody else?
This is David.
Go ahead, David.
Does anyone know when the iOS 16 is coming out?
iOS 16 is out.
Not for the iPad.
This is Janet.
Oh, I'm not sure on the iPad. I'm sorry. On the iPhone it is. I don't know about the iPad if it's out or not. Go ahead, Janet.
The iPad version should be coming out when 16.1 comes out is when the iPad version will come out. they're trying to, I guess they're trying to integrate it with the, whenever the new Mac OS is coming out type thing. So it'll be, I think, sometime next week.
Okay, thanks for that, Janet. Okay, anybody else? Questions, comments, new experiences with your iDevices? Any glowing reviews? Okay, I'm running out of ideas, you guys. Help me out here.
This is Janet again. I want to get Marie out of her misery. Not
Go
having
ahead,
anybody
Janet. Thank
talk.
you.
Is Helene still here?
Are you still here, Helene?
I guess
Give her a
not.
minute, see if she might be muted.
No, she's not here, but you can go ahead and say your comment.
Go ahead and give your comment anyway.
Oh, okay. I was just gonna say if she wanted someone to tag team with her, I'd be willing to try to help her with her Apple Watch because I'm trying to learn it and using my borrowing my husband since he has one. So I've been able to try to learn how to do stuff with it, and it's basically almost like the iPhone. It's like hand and glove. You know, the hand's the iPhone, the glove is the Apple Watch. So they kind of they work together, which is really neat. So
Be a
that's my
nice
comment.
idea. That'd be a nice idea for you to kind of bounce ideas off of each other and try things.
Yep. Yep.
This is Shree.
Go ahead, Shree.
I was going to say something about the Apple Watch. You know, if you're trying to figure out how to navigate and you're finding it difficult with iOS 16, they do have that accessibility feature where you have the Apple Watch mirroring, where some of those features that you try to perform on the watch, if you find it difficult, you can actually perform it on your iPhone. And it pretty much mirrors what the Apple Watch layout looks like, including the digital crown and side button.
Okay. Some good advice. Thanks, Shree. Anybody else? I haven't actually tried any new apps recently myself. Kind of the same old, same old. You get, after a while, you kind of get used to your favorite apps and know what works for you. Okay, one more question. We got a few more minutes here. Then we can get ready for the great reveal.
Anybody with a 2-minute question so we don't have to deal with it later? Get all the hard questions from Marie, okay?
No. Hey, I don't have to answer them.
I know, y'all are doing great. Well, very good.
You have anything to give us news, Sandhya?
Oh, we are basically at the half point. Marie, so you did great. Thank you very much. All right, so good job. So we will now get ready for the halftime program. And so at this point, we'd like for anybody who didn't get to say hello the first time around, please say your name and where you're from. And if it's your first time here, please tell us that too. Anybody new?
This is Candace Steppen.
Hey,
I'm from
Candace.
Colorado Springs, Colorado, and I've been here many times, but with my crazy work schedule, it was hard for me to make it on Monday nights. And so I'm now training on a new call center campaign. So as of today, I will now be available.
All right. Well, we're so happy to hear you. Glad to have you, Candace. Good deal. All right. Who else?
Kathy from Tulsa.
Hey, Hey, Kathy, welcome. Anybody else?
Bridget from Atlanta.
Hey, Miss Bridget. Hey, Shree, welcome. Anybody else? Say who
David
you
from
are.
Houston.
Hey, David, welcome. Who else? Who else? Didn't get to say hi the first time.
Brooks in Oklahoma.
Hey, Brooks, welcome. Got 2 Oklahomans here. All right. Anybody else? People just coming in, we're just say who you are, where you're from, if you didn't get to say hi the first time. Okay, anybody else? Nope. All right, well. Okay, so now we're gonna get ready for the big reveal, as we like to call it. So we're gonna have iBUG Night at the Virtual Movies on Friday. The movie is audio described starting at 8 p.m. Central. The social time is at 7:30. And all this is on this same Zoom conference line. I just thought I'd remind everybody that all of our conference calls are on this same Zoom conference line. So that makes it easy. Once you get it into your system, your device, then you're all set to go. Okay, what do we do during social time? We listen to songs and kind of a little bit of name that too, try to figure out what they have to do with the movie, and just some general silliness goes on. And then after the movie, we have discussion and trivia to follow. So now, with those baffling clues. When I think of baffling, I think of Scooby-Doo for some reason, right? I don't know. All right, that's my association with baffling. Okay, with that, we will hand it to the iBUG guy. iBUG guy, are you out there?
Here comes the weekend and there's so much to do. Here comes the weekend, can I spend it with you? When you're in New York, maybe I'll call.
Yes, 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 I am back. Welcome everyone to the big reveal where we will give some clues for the Friday night virtual movie. We've got another great movie lined up for you. And to help you figure out what the movie is, we're going to give you 5 clues. Count them 5. We've got some rules here. You get 1 guess per clue and 5 guesses per game. And also, please say your name and wait to be recognized. No yelling out titles of the movie or other miscellaneous things that aren't appropriate. So with that, it is now time for
Got his appendix out or something.
All right.
Definitely a pain.
I think it's going to burst.
One can hope.
Oh, no.
Get ready for clue number 1. All right. Our psychological thriller this week takes us back to the Big Apple. Yay!
Uh-oh. That's the clue.
Our psychological thriller this week takes us back to the Big Apple.
This is Shree.
Shree.
Is it the Jagged Edge?
A Jagged Edge. Oh, that is so close. Good try, Shree. I'm hearing background noise from somebody. All right, here we go. Anybody else on that want to take a guess on that clue? All right. You get 3 guesses. Clue number two. The lead character is a successful lawyer with a 6-year-old daughter. The lead character is a successful lawyer with a 6-year-old daughter.
This Kathy.
Kathy, then Nikki.
Is it Kramer versus Kramer?
Oh, so almost no. Okay, Nikki.
Is it Sam I Am?
Sam, I am.
Or something like that with Sean Penn?
I am Sam.
Oh, I am Sam.
But I don't think they're a lawyer. David.
Is it Fatal Attraction?
Fatal Attraction. That is so close, David. So close. Ding, 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 ding. It is absolutely right on. Way to go, David.
No.
Yes. Our movie this week is
That's a good movie. That's a scary one.
Fatal Attraction, starring Michael Douglas, Glenn Close, and Archer.
Will not be ignored.
And the rabbit. Don't forget the rabbit.
People.
Yeah, the rabbit in the pot.
Join us for that this Friday night.
Well worth seeing if you haven't seen it.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, they all are.
Okay, Johnny, what do we have for our winner this week?
Wait, I don't know.
Oh, hey, David. David, are you ready, David? David.
Yes, do I get a rabbit?
No. I think there's a rabbit in this movie. I thought that was in the other movie, but anyway.
Oh no, this one gets cooked.
Oh, I remember that.
Oh,
Okay, well,
spoiler
now
alert,
don't tell
sorry.
everybody. Okay, the answer, you're going to get a stuffed unicorn. Yes, I know it's very exciting, David, but don't worry. You can have her next to your bed or something. Okay, so stuffed unicorn, never given before.
Because after this movie, you won't want to go on any dates or anything.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, David.
Never
Good job.
again.
Thank you for playing. And Mr. McCulloch, let's say goodnight to you.
Another weekend together around. Another weekend going back to the start. We'll be okay. The time difference sucks.
All right. Very good. Very good. Very good. Okay. So now we are ready for the iBUG Bites segment. And this is where we talk about a little trick or a hint or how to do something a little more efficiently. And it's very short. It's not a whole exploration of the entire app. So it's just a few little aspects that we think would be helpful. Okay. All right. And I will be doing it today. And then after the iBUG Bite segment, we'll go back to questions and answers. So you'd be listening to the presentation and also be thinking of questions. All right. Okay, so what we're talking about today is voicemail. And I have actually asked this question. And like we always say, telling people the best way to learn something is if you have to explain it to somebody. So, okay, so here we are. I'm in my voicemail. And it's on my new phone, so it's a different voice so that's another whole issue. We'll talk about that later. Still kind of traumatized by that, but okay. Okay, let's touch these. So we're in the phone app. The 5th tab is voicemail. And so I want to just show you how to listen to a voicemail. Maybe you have a friend that leaves those really long messages that go on and on and on and on and on, right? I seem to have some friends like that. Well, Yeah, so I think they're my friends. And maybe after this demo, they won't be my friends anymore, but okay. So I'm going to show you how to, the trick is when you go into your voicemail, and all of your messages are listed there. So each entry will say collapsed when you listen to the whole thing. So that when you want to get more information about a particular voicemail that you want to hear more about, double tap on it, and then it will say expanded. Who would have thought, right? Collapsed and expanded. I never noticed that before. I don't know. And so then, so once you expand it, then you're going to get all the information about VoiceOver will start reading it to you. I mean, you'll start hearing the message itself, and then it'll give you options to change the position and to whatever. There are different options. So that's what we're going to talk about real quick here. All right, so we're going to do, we had a White Cane Safety Day celebration this Saturday, and then I got a call from our paratransit. So we're going to hear that. It's super exciting, let me tell you. Okay.
Ride alert system, phone, October 12th, 2022, 32 seconds, collapsed.
Okay, so when I double tap on, so it said collapse, like I said. So now when I double tap, it's going to start reading the message. So what I'm going to do, okay, so what I'm going to do is, I want to hear the message, but I don't want to hear voiceover. And I get so annoyed because voiceover is talking at the same time as the message and I never hear the beginning. Okay, so let's talk about that. I'm going to double tap to expand.
Ride alert system, phone, October.
Drop off, White Cane Day attending 4455 University Drive, Houston.
Okay.
Voicemail position, 11, pause voicemail. Play
So
voicemail.
I was swiping right with one finger. And so what I did to stop the voiceover is a 2-finger, just touch the screen gently, and then it will stop voiceover. So you can hear the whole message without both of them talking at the same time. All right, maybe I want to go. And then did you see the position, the voiceover position? I'm going to swipe left because I swiped. Okay, so here we go. So
Voicemail position, 13 seconds of 32 seconds, adjustable.
So that's a slider. When it says adjustable, it's a slider. You can move it up.
19 seconds of 32 seconds.
All right, and then I can play it.
Play voicemail, button.
And then
pause voicemail.
Attending 4455 University Drive, Houston. Drop off, 4114.
Play voicemail.
Okay, and that's a toggle. You're on the play button. If you tap it again, it'll stop it. Maybe you want to listen to the message and write something down or whatever. Okay, so that's how you can listen to the message. You can use that slider to go forward and backward. Keep swiping right with one finger.
Playback destination, button.
And you can do different things with this playback destination. I don't use that very much. I'm just going to go to what I think is more helpful.
Call, button.
You can call this person back if you wanted to.
Delete, button.
You can delete it.
Transcription. And
there is the transcription. And I think this may depend on your carrier if you get the visual voicemail. So anyway, I have it. I have a Xfinity, so I'm going to swipe right, and it'll do the best that it can. Since it's a machine, it probably comes out a little better than an actual person speaking.
114 Durness Way, Houston. Drop off White King Day attending 40,455 University DR. Houston trip number 2 with a pickup time of.
Okay, so I 2-finger just touched the screen and stopped it. So if I wanted to, I could, select that. I can do different things to manipulate that. So now what if I want to go to the next message? Okay, I'm done with this. Done, so done. So I'm going to swipe left to where it said right, because the name of the caller.
Transcript, delete, call, playback, play voicemail position, ride alert system, phone, October 12th, 2022 at 7:43 p.m. Expanded.
I'm going to double tap.
Ride alert system, phone, October 12th, 2022, 32 seconds, collapsed.
Collapsed. And now all that extra information is gone about that call. And if I swipe right one more time, I'll get to the next voicemail.
Harsha Dravidi.
Okay, so that is just a real quick, demonstration of how to navigate a voice message. Okay, voicemail. So we will unmute. All right, anybody have any questions about that? Any suggestions? How to, maybe you do something a little differently? Anything?
This is Pete.
Yes, sir.
Just an alternative to collapsing it at the end there. You can do the delete at that point when your info is opened up and one of those buttons was delete.
Right.
That will also not only delete the message, but it will clear it from the top of your list, and then your next message will be at the top.
Right, that's true. And a thing I didn't mention is if you're on the name, that ride alert, and maybe you already know, okay, I don't need to hear this again, I heard it before, you can use the swipe up and you'll get other options to share or to delete. So yeah, thank you, Pete. Very good. All right, who's next?
This Kathy.
Go ahead, Kathy.
I have a problem with mail, with voicemail.
Okay, hold on. Any more questions? Do you have, is this, okay, you have a different question, right?
Well, it's kind of to do with voicemail. It's that I've lost calls. Is there something that I should be doing? Is there something that the phone should be doing to save? Like if somebody calls me and I'm not around when call comes in, if I don't check my messages or check my voicemail, I won't even know that there was a call. Is there some way that something I should have set up so that it stays in, what do you call it? You know, when,
yeah, like an unread status, or you get
so
notified of it.
Right. And if I have ones that I have never even read, I mean, I missed an important call. A cousin that I never talked to called me like in August, the beginning of August. And the only reason I ever got it was somehow I got it in my head to go through all my voicemail. And, I can't believe that I would miss a call. I mean, you think you're kind of on top of things. You check your calls, but there's always that.
That is a super question. Who would like to help Kathy out on that one?
Gary.
Go ahead, Gary.
You might look in recents, because that will show all the calls that have come in, even the ones you've taken, the ones that you haven't. So I would, you might look in there. You can see your calls. Then you don't have to worry about voicemail. You can say, so-and-so called me out and they left me a voicemail, I'll just call them back, so.
Right.
But yeah, look in recent, down at the bottom, on the tabs on the bottom, I think it's the second one on from the right.
Exactly.
I do it so much, it's hard to say where it is.
Second from the left, actually.
Or second from the left, yeah. But I was
Favorites.
thinking favorites, recent contacts, keypad voicemail. I had it. Okay.
Good job, Gary. All right. So that's one suggestion. Any other suggestions for Kathy?
This is Karen.
Go ahead, Karen.
I assume you have your notifications on?
Ah, great point, Karen. Why don't you tell her how do you set up your notifications, Karen?
I don't know how to set it up, but it's set up. I get a notification.
What do you get notified? How do you get notified?
One is I'll get one that was missed call. And then I'll get another one that if the person left a voicemail, I'll get another notification that says a voicemail. I don't know exactly what it says, but that the person left a voicemail.
Right. Good. Perfect. Thank you, Karen. All right.
David.
Go ahead, David.
Another thing you can do is if you touch the phone icon, it'll say like how many items you have. That means like how many things you haven't looked at, either voicemails or missed calls. And then if you double tap on phone and go over to the voicemail button, you don't even have to tap on it. You can just hear if you have unread voicemails. You'll say like X number of items, like 5 items or whatever. That's what mine does. I mean, that means they're not read yet. They haven't heard. It's just so many items.
Okay, so David,
That
just to
bad.
clarify,
Those are-
you're saying once you go to the voicemail tab, it'll tell you how many are unread, maybe? Or,
Well, as you're swiping, if you listen, it'll say voicemail, and if you have some, it'll say 1 item or 5 items.
Okay.
That little badge thing, you know. I
Right,
don't know
right.
if you have to turn that. I have them turned on. I don't know if that's by default or like it does the same thing on like messages and just email and so on. You know,
okay,
when you touch the icon, it tells you how many unread. Like, you know, we always joke about 10,000 read messages, or you know,
right.
some people
Okay.
have, like myself. No,
Yeah, me
but,
too, me too.
but
Okay,
those
thank
little
you,
badges
David.
can help you know if there's new stuff that you haven't tackled yet.
Right, very good. Okay. All right, Kathy,
This
so,
is,
you go, Greg.
yeah, this is Greg. So on your notifications, you've got sounds, badges, and banners. And badges is the one that gives you the number of like phone calls, and your voicemail, actually, like if you had a call from somebody and they left you a voicemail, that's going to show up as 2 when you touch the phone icon. And so if you have some that you haven't responded to, then you're going to know they're still going to show up on your phone icon as one of the numbers.
It's Kathy.
Go ahead, Kathy.
So when you say phone icon, does that mean like the bottom of my status bar or whatever you call it at the bottom, it says phone?
Correct.
If I touch
Down at
that?
right, the dock at the bottom.
Okay. And
Yeah,
so
if you
I
touch that icon, it'll tell you, 2 or whatever.
Oh, and I don't think I have my notifications turned on. So do I go to phone under settings? I go to phone and then
This is
notification,
Greg.
or do I go
Greg.
to notification and then find phone?
Hang on, Kathy. Go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, go to settings and notifications, and then swipe down to phone, and you can turn on whichever you want. But I would definitely turn on badges.
Yes, and there's different, this is Sandhya, there's different, those each have a different function. And like one of them is like, it's like a persistent one. It's like you have to do something, so you cannot ignore it. And then some of them, the banner just goes away. So, maybe that would help. So there you go.
Thank you. I'm sorry, it's such a basic thing, but
No, that's the great question. All right, who's that, David? Or
This is Sri.
Sri, go ahead.
So Sonia, I have a question for you. When you play voicemail, mine always plays on the earpiece instead of the speakerphone. Do you know how to get it so it just comes on the speakerphone?
Yes, well, no, I was able to put my phone really loud. I know that we have talked about like audio routing or something. I know we've talked about it on this call, but I couldn't remember how to do it. But fortunately, this phone is so loud, I was able to just turn the volume really loud. But yeah, I absolutely, there's some way of routing it so you can hear it on your speaker. If somebody knows, does anybody know that answer? Because I think we've talked about that before.
This is Pete.
Pete.
It was that destination button that you skipped over.
Okay.
The destination is either the speaker or the earpiece, I believe.
Okay, because I know prior to the call I tried it and it didn't seem very helpful because it was.
Yeah, it's very difficult with voicemail, and I don't know that you can set it.
Okay.
And forget it, then it's constant. I only do it after I've played it and lost it in the earpiece a couple of times, and then I can go back and open up those buttons and options and then tap on destination, and then it will go to the speaker only then.
Okay. All right. So we'll do a little more research on that because, yeah, I thought that question might come up and I didn't figure out how to do that. Okay. Well, thank you all. Anybody else? Question about voicemail, listening to a voicemail? It's just a very small part of it. Yes. Who's that?
This is Helene.
Helene, go ahead.
The voicemail, my voicemail keeps saying it's 90 or 92% full. And I keep finding there's only 5 messages, and I press deleted messages, and then I say clear all, and then within a day or two, it says 92% full again. So is that anything
This is
that I
Shri.
can do about
Go
that?
ahead, Shri.
I'm sorry, I didn't quite understand. Did you purge your deleted voicemails?
It keeps saying it's 92% full, and
Correct.
I don't know. Yes.
So
she did delete all of the deleted messages. She cleared those out. But
So,
and she
okay.
says she only has 5 messages currently. I mean, 5 unread or just 5 regular messages? Helene?
Five regular, just
Okay.
there, 5 there.
Okay.
And who's your carrier?
Spectrum.
You might want to check with them to see what the voicemail limitations. Like I know with Verizon, it's not the length of the message, but the number. I think it's at 40 is at Verizon. So I'm not sure if you purged it from your deleted, then that should have cleared up all the number count. So I might just want to check with them to see what the limit is, because something is stuck there.
Hey.
Can I just ask one more piggyback on that? Does recent count? And like not.
No,
does
no,
the
it doesn't.
no, just the voicemail.
It's just like a log of the incoming calls
Okay.
and outgoing
This is
calls.
Shri.
Yeah, Shri.
With Verizon, it's a total. So whether you have what's deleted, what's in your pending, what's new, it can't exceed more than 40.
Voicemails, right?
Voicemails, correct.
Yeah, but she's saying, what about the things that are in her recents? Everybody that's in your recent didn't leave a voicemail, so that won't matter. I mean, you could have a call, but
The recent is applied to this. This is Shri. I was just gonna say the recent, the favorite, those are all tied to the app. The voicemail is tied to your carrier.
Okay, good. All right, Helene, hopefully that will help you. Good question.
This is Greg.
Greg.
Okay, so Helene, I'm wondering if you've blocked any callers, because I was getting.
Yes.
Okay,
Oh.
I blocked a call from a health supply company, and all of those went into, and I'm trying to remember what that folder was within voicemail, but it had just totally filled that up, and so I was getting the same message you were getting. And I'm not remembering how I got to that folder, but it's within the voicemail settings, and you have to go in there and delete all of those. You probably have a whole bunch that you've stacked up that were blocked. So that's you need to get to that. Yeah.
Great, Greg. And yeah, mine is always telling me, people are like, voicemail is full. It's like, yeah, go ahead, Shri.
I think it's on the edit button, isn't it? If you click on the edit on the top left in voicemail, doesn't that take you to the block section?
Yeah, I remember it's toward the very end somewhere. Okay. All right, thank you. All right, very good. Okay, anybody else? I think we're going to move on back to our regularly scheduled program. Okay, who has a regular question that they would like to ask that they didn't have a chance to ask? Anything?
Linda.
Linda, go ahead.
I have a BARD question. Has anyone noticed, I try to set the timer first off, I go to 15 minutes or 30 minutes and it won't do anything. So I have to go to stop and push the stop button and then press it again to get it to start, and it'll start talking, but then I have to still go back to the timing part and hit either 15 or 30 minutes for it to work. Is anybody else noticing that?
Okay, so so you're playing you're playing your book, and then you say, hey, I want to put a timer. So then you swipe over to set a timer, but it won't let you put it in then at that point? You have to stop it?
Yes, and then I have to go back to the timer.
Ah, interesting.
This
like
is
an
Greg.
extra step.
Go ahead, Greg.
Thank you. There is a bug between the sleep timer and the rewind and the play and pause, because I use this every night. And sometimes the play pause after you've done the sleep timer or the rewind, then the play pause, you don't get any prompt. And then I've had other times when I've done that and it's just comes back just screaming loud, the BARD reader. and I'm convinced it's a bug. It's something with iOS 16 and the Bard app, and I've tried. I deleted the Bard app. I re-downloaded it. It's still happening. I'm hoping that 16.1 fixes that because it's annoying.
Okay. Part of this call is to reassure you that you're not losing your mind. So there you go. So, Greg, we hope we helped you out. Okay, good question, Linda. Anybody else? The new question. Who has a new question? All questions are good. Well, I will mention, I noticed today when I was looking at my contacts that there was a new, we talked about, it's kind of neat. We do Apple News at our Apple Workshop programs, and, we talk about, things that are going to come, and it's really neat to see that they come to fruition, right? And so now we had talked about, they're going to help you eliminate duplicate contacts, and I had not opened the Contacts app on the new phone, and there it was. It says you have 38 blah blah blah, duplicative contacts, so it'll merge them. So I was like, wow, I thought it would be more, but anyway. So that was my little news flash for today.
This is Jody.
Yes, Jody.
I just checked, and I've got a couple of email addresses. If you want to send a message directly to the Library of Congress, it's bardsupport@loc.gov.
bardsupport@loc.gov. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Very good. All right, I thought I heard somebody else.
This Marie.
Yeah,
Marie.
Can I go back to the Bard issue for just a second? Because I had stepped away and I wasn't. I'm using iOS 16 and I'm using Bard every day. And I'm not having any problems with the timer or the fast forward or any of those things. So that's not any help. I'm just saying that are you updated to the latest update? Maybe that makes a difference. The iOS 13.0.3 is out.
Yeah, Linda, are you? Or I assume you are. She may be.
This is Linda.
Yeah.
I'm not up to 16 yet, but I'm almost there.
Okay. And Greg, what about you? I bet you are.
This is Greg. I'm running 16.0.3 on the iOS software, and I re-downloaded the Bard app. So I'm assuming I picked it up the latest Bard app, and it could be that it's just working on doing that on certain devices. I don't know, but I've had a real problem with that.
Okay. Well, what device do you have, and then we'll compare that with what Linda has.
I'm doing it. I'm on a 14 Pro, but I think I had the same problem on a 10R.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, another bug for the book.
This is Pete.
Pete.
Can I get Greg to reiterate what was going on? Because I have all the updated stuff too, and I'm wondering specifically, is it with the sleep timer, Greg, only, or is it with all the controls independent of the sleep timer?
This is Greg.
Greg.
Yeah. So at night, I'll put on a book. I'll hit the sleep timer for 30 minutes.
Right.
I'll go to sleep, and I wake up and I rewind 15 minutes, and then I'll hit the sleep timer again. And a lot of times I'm thinking the sleep timer sometimes won't work, but then if I hit the play pause just to kind of double check where I am and if I remember anything, then there are times when the play pause, I just get there's no voiceover signal and nothing happens.
You don't get the little beep. Yeah.
I don't get anything. And then other times when when I hit the sleep timer again, it's just screaming loud.
So it all initiates, it seems, with the sleep timer.
Well, yeah, the sleep timer, I think it's probably sleep timer and maybe rewind. It's something having to do with sleep timer and rewind and the play pause, something in interaction between those controls.
All right, I'll play with it and see if I notice it. Let you know next week.
Probably that loud screaming doesn't help the sleeping process, right, Greg?
No, right.
Okay. All right.
This is Jody.
Jody.
Yeah, another email that I have is nlsdownload@lsc.gov, and those all go down to the same place, I think. But the other suggestion I was going to have is getting back to the problem that we were talking about before. Make sure your screen recognition is turned off.
Okay, it's always good. All right, thank you. Moving on to new topic, I think. Thank you, Linda. All right, who's got a new question? New problem? Somebody hasn't had a turn. Or if you've had a turn. Who would like to go?
This is Karen.
Go ahead, Karen.
I'm not sure if I asked this question before, but
that's okay.
In emails, I remember when it didn't happen, and I remember when it started happening. And it's still troublesome. When I open up an email, I'll tap on it to make sure I'm where I hear something like heading or content or whatever it says. Then I do a 2-finger swipe down. And sometimes, often, the email will not read, or it'll read just a little bit or partly, and then it'll stop and it'll go, all the way down to the bottom, like to delete and whatever, it's at the bottom. And sometimes it won't read at all. I mean, it will read, but I have to keep tap, like 1 finger tap, and then 2-finger swipe down. I have to do it then sometimes it just gets so stubborn where I have to go to the vertical scroll bar and scroll down. But then, by then I'm like 10 or 20% or whatever, then I got to scroll back up and try it again so I can hear the whole email. I don't know what that is, but it is really frustrating. So
I hear you. Yeah. Who has some suggestions for Karen? Reading an email, a long email. Trying to get it to read continuously, basically, right, Karen? That's yeah. That we have. It's like these problems.
Sometimes it'll do it. No, sometimes it doesn't, and it's so frustrating.
Okay, who's got help for Karen?
This is true.
Anybody?
That was Sri.
This is how.
Oh, Sri, sorry, I didn't hear you. Go ahead.
Have you tried doing a 2-finger swipe up?
Nope. I'll try that. What does that do?
Finger swipe up. All right.
3 finger or 2 finger?
3.
Okay.
This is Helene.
Okay, Helene.
This is Sri. I'm sorry, I said a 2-finger swipe up.
Oh, 2-finger swipe up. Okay.
And that's going to read from top to end.
Oh, this is Helene. I thought it was 2 fingers swipe down.
Okay, so I think
that's what I was doing.
Yeah, this 2-finger swipe down reads from where you are, right?
Yes.
This is Sri.
Yeah.
So 2-finger swipe down reads from wherever the voiceover focus is to the end. A 2-finger swipe up will read from the top all the way down to the bottom.
There you go. So Karen, when you're reading these long messages, does it just stop? Is that what you said? I'm sorry, I may have, or does it just lose focus? It just stops. Okay.
It just stops. Sometimes it'll read straight through, all the way to the bottom, the very, very end, and I hear delete and more actions or whatever.
Okay.
Sometimes it just won't read at all. It'll just like don't. It just like it will just like it's like stuck.
Yeah.
This is Pete.
Sometimes it'll partly and then jump to the bottom.
Okay, hang on. I heard Pete, but I thought, did I hear Kathy in there? No. Okay. Go Pete.
I was going to ask Karen, are you actually opening the email? If you tap on your email app on the home screen, and then you're going to the inbox and you're actually tapping on an email and opening it up so it's completely open?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
And then you are adjusting, this is Pete, you're adjusting the bar with the percentages, you're doing that and going to 100% too?
No, I don't want to do that. I want to read the whole thing. I mean, I only go to the vertical scroll bar when it gets stuck.
I see, yeah.
And I've done the 2-finger swipe down. I'll tap at the top to where I hear a heading or something like that, and 2-finger swipe down. And
Try the
sometimes it's just
two-finger
read.
swipe up. I'm sorry, this is Pete. Try the 2-finger swipe up because it will start at the very top of the screen, whereas the 2-finger swipe down, like Shri said, will only read from where the voiceover cursor is, the focus point. So do a 2-finger swipe up and you'll hear it go all the way up to the top, and then it should read the entire screen.
Oh, so I mean, I do know that wherever you are at a 2-finger swipe down, I'll start reading from there. The problem is, it doesn't always read completely. It will jump down to the bottom. Either it
Yeah.
doesn't read at all, or to jump right to the bottom, and I hear delete. You know, whatever, or actions, and I'm like.
So just to clarify, so they're saying instead of 2-finger swiping down, just do the 2-finger swipe up, and that'll take you from the beginning, and then read all the way down. So let's try that.
I know how to start from the beginning. I mean,
Oh,
this is
okay.
Karen. I know how to start from the beginning. It just doesn't read.
Okay.
Yeah, or the stop. Yeah.
It's like it's not open fully.
This is David.
Jody and then David.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, not to sound like a broken record here, but Pete suggested I was having email problems, and make sure screen recognition's turned off.
Okay.
Because mine was bouncing all over the place too, and that's what Pete recommended.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Turn off your screen recognition.
Good point. That's
This
true.
is Karen, and I took screen recognition out of my rotor. It was so disturbing.
I agree.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. That's a good thought there, Karen. Okay, but it does come in handy. Okay, David, go.
My question would be like, are these like marketing emails or like newsletters, or are these from
Any kind of email.
friends, or because I've
Anybody.
noticed, with email, I mean, there's quite a bit of variation as whether you can read it on or not, because a lot of times it's all graphic stuff, and it'll just skip over all that and won't read it. And if like a graphic's embedded in the mail, like maybe there's some text and then there's a graphic, sometimes it'll just stop because it wants to, and you kind of have to swipe around that graphic and then continue. The local newspaper here sends them out, and they do a lot of that with their updates. It'll be like one little article blurb, and then there's like probably a picture or something. You have to kind of, or an advertising, you have to kind of get around that. And then sometimes there's also an option to read in browser, and that'll be a little easier because then you can use like the reader view in the Safari browser, to strip out some of that extra junk. I don't think the email has that capacity. This is for many of those, automated emails that you get from either news sources or department stores or whoever, But if it's like a friend sending an email, I don't know what to say about that. If they're just writing just straight text and not a bunch of fancy stuff like I was talking about, I don't see why it would stop reading that kind of email. But these other ones, I do have that problem where you have to kind of finagle it.
Okay,
It could
Karen,
be.
and
It
then
could be
we'll move on.
I never really noticed, but it could be.
Okay. All right, good question, Karen.
Thank
you. All right, who else? New question?
This is Greg.
Greg.
Okay, screen recognition. I at one point I was having enough trouble with that getting turned on accidentally that I took it out of my rotor, and it is available in the quick setting, the quick voiceover settings. If you do a 2-finger quadruple tap, then you can get to screen recognition and turn that on or off for whatever app you're in. But I found that getting it out of my rotor kind of avoided some of that accidental getting turned on.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yes. All right. Thank you, Greg. Good tip there. Okay, somebody new, you have a turn, been waiting all this time. Who would like to ask a question? Love to hear from you. I hear somebody sighing, they're getting ready. Anybody? Okay, I'm just hallucinating again. We're ready.
This is Jody.
This is Greg.
Okay,
Well,
This is
Greg.
Janet.
Go ahead.
Okay, hang on.
Jody,
Let's
go
go to
ahead.
Janet. Hang on, Janet, go.
Is Helene back?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was wanting to find a way to get a hold of you. Maybe we can
Okay,
Apple
Helene,
Watch.
okay, we'll take care of that. I mean, we'll have to talk about that later, okay? We'll
Okay.
do that later. I'll help you figure that out. Okay, all right. Okay, Jody, question? You had a
Well, no, it was very quiet, so I just said I'd comment more that I'm looking at the Zoom app, and there's quite a few at the bottom here, and you actually have to swipe to the right to get past all of them because they don't fit on the bottom. You've got your participants, and then you have raise my hand, then share, then whiteboard, and I don't know if that means the chat, and then after that you have the more buttons. So there's actually quite a lot down that on the bottom of the Zoom app now.
Okay, so we definitely have to check that out. Anybody else? New question? All right, I will share a little experience that I had this weekend. So I think I told you I bought my new phone and I postponed switching over because I always, it's a little bit of an ordeal, we kind of know it's going to happen. And so, Brad had been talking about encrypted backup and can't talk about him because he's not here to defend himself. But I tried that, and for whatever, had different, there's just like a lot of, I guess, I mean, like the cautionary tale is you gotta just have a lot of patience. So I tried it and I had a weak cable. The cable was loose, and then it said turn off find my, I mean, it was just like one thing after another. And I mean, Greg, you recently updated, so you can add your 2 cents, but and then I made sure both phones were to the latest proper operating system, and then I set up my encrypted backup with the little password on my Mac. And I know we don't talk about Macs, but that was kind of the process to try to do it that way. The reason being that you would help to save your passwords, and then you wouldn't have to enter all your passwords. But I got to a point where things were just not going well, and I was running out of time, and I needed a phone because I switched my number over to the new phone before the phone was completely set up. So I'm just telling you all this so that you might learn from my mistake. So therefore, I had to, I guess I'm not even sure what really happened, but the apps that were on the new phone after this backup were like all out of order. They were not like at all, it was only like 2 pages. I have about 9 pages of apps and stuff. So, so that was kind of weird. But some things were coming through, the messages were there, my mail was there. And then after then later on, I went back and I just did I did it the other way. There's 2 different ways. This encrypted backup through your Mac is you connect it by a wire to the, it's just like a hardwire way to do it. The other option is to restore it from an iCloud backup. We've talked about making iCloud backups on your iPhones and then restoring it from that. And then another option is the quick start, and this when you put one phone next to the other phone, and then it magically takes everything over. And I tried variations of all of these things because it was, like I said, just a mess. And at some points, the voiceover was like, there was one point where it said, okay, you need to put the verification code from this phone to the other phone. and it would not read it to me. And I was so frustrated because I've done this before. I've set up new phones all by myself before. And so, I mean, I'm just wondering if this is all related to, you know, some of the bugs that people have talked about. If anybody's heard of all this stuff, it's just very frustrating. But then I ultimately did the restore from iCloud backup, and then all of my apps are in the same order that they were in, but I am having to enter passwords. So that's, just take that for whatever's worth. Just don't tell Brad. But anyway, Greg, anything you want to add? Yes. Oh, Shri, go ahead.
I was just going to say something about, you know, when you jump in the lake and you don't know how to swim, it can be tough.
Yeah.
So I would say when you venture into something like this, make sure you have a plan of action. For example, when I jump into something like this, I try to make sure that Apple accessibility is available to me, just to see what is going on the screen. Now, definitely doing the computer backup, as long as you did a, you know, encrypted backup on your computer, then you restore. In theory, as long as, you know, one important thing that you said that caught my ear was the cable.
Yeah.
It's, you know, we stress it here that you should get an MFI cable.
Yeah.
That you should get a MFI certified brick to connect to that cable. This is very, very important because the reason that cable is important is it's got a chip in that cable. Think of it, a cable has a little microprocessor chip. And when it's transferring data, it knows when things are working correctly and not working correctly, or if something's wrong. It can kind of, I mean, it doesn't have that kind of a brain cell, but it kind of has some smartness into it. So my advice is, you know, if this is your first time you're going to do it, make sure you have like Apple accessibility, and they'll be, you know, there to help you. But, you know, it can be very frustrating. You do it on your own and things aren't working, then, you know, we start getting frustrated. We think it's not working. So definitely have support, at least have Apple accessibility support there with you when you're doing something new like that.
Absolutely. And yeah, that was another issue, to have another device that, you know, because you can't use these devices, the two devices, to call Apple accessibility. So you need to have like a third device, you know, so, but they were very helpful. I mean, you know, I talked to them periodically throughout this whole thing. And so anyway, that's just a little tale. I mean, it's not to scare anybody. It's just, you know, hopefully everybody's go better than that. But it was also, you know, just up against a deadline, and I needed a functioning phone. But okay, enough of that. I just want to share that. Anybody else? New question?
Michael.
Sorry, who is that?
Michael.
Go, sir.
Yeah, I just was going to warn anyone that has a new the iPhone 14s or the new or Apple Watch Series 8 that have you know, they have crash detection in them now. Be careful if you go on a roller coaster, because they said it's sensing that, you know, with all the jerking around, that you're in a crash, and so it'll start sending messages to all your emergency contacts and 911 and all of that. So hopefully they'll get that fixed here pretty soon. But anyway.
Wow. How is it supposed to know that you're in a roller coaster? It's like,
No, it's just the accelerometers that are, you know, supposed to sense the crash, a vehicle crash, but it's simulating that. I guess somebody on some roller coaster, I can't remember where they were, but they were on a roller coaster and then it started sending out signals.
wow. Okay. Very good. Thank you, Mr. McCulloch. Okay, Marty.
Yeah, Michael, I heard about that news item, and what they suggested was when you go on a ride like that, because of that, they suggested to put your phone in airplane mode while you're on the roller coaster.
Okay.
Yeah. So I guess they're going to be sending out a lot of Apple employees, testers, to go out on roller coasters.
Well, we volunteer you, Mr. McCulloch. Okay, go for it.
We'll fix that problem. Yeah.
All right.
This is skydiving.
Skydiving. He's done that. Okay, go Sri.
I was going to say, this is probably going to save lots of money for Apple because they don't have to actually do a test dummy test. They just send people on roller coaster rides.
Yeah. All right.
This is Pete.
Pete.
I wanted to go back to the setup, the new phone thing.
Yeah, yeah.
You and Sri both said have Apple accessibility on hand. What can they do?
This is
Go
Sri.
ahead, Sri, go.
So when I've done some installs, like one of the examples that Sandhya talked about is having one phone over the other phone and let the camera see the I guess it's some kind of a code. It's like an image code, and I could never line it up. I have always had trouble. So they can actually see the camera on the device as long as you have Wi-Fi connection to your phone. Because one of the first things it'll ask. What's that?
How are they seeing it? Are they remoting into your phone somehow?
Yes, they're remoting to the primary phone that has the phone number connected to it. And then you're basically taking that camera of that phone, looking into the old phone.
Right. Okay.
And then it basically transfers the image. That's one way of doing it. The second way is, and so you can also do a manual update too. If that QR code is not working, you can do a manual update. So once they have vision of your phone, they can kind of just guide you through to say, okay, you got to go here, you got to click on that, or what the phone screen looks like to guide me.
Yeah, but like I said, I was doing great until they wouldn't read the verification code. And then it was also saying like weird things. And I think Greg also heard weird stuff. Greg, what you got? Got anything you want to add?
Yeah, this was bizarre. I got my phone set up okay, and I was in an app where it was acting a little strange. So I thought I'll do a hard reboot. So I did a hard reboot, the volume up, volume down, and hold in the side button. And I could not enter my passcode. There was a screen that pulled up in front of it that was announcing itself Celeste, like in Celestial, I guess, Celeste View, and then all this other garble, but I could not get to the numpad to do my passcode. So I got my wife to help me. She can see, and so I turned voiceover off, and she was able to do that. But then anytime I wanted to type anything, regardless of the app I was in, this same thing, this same overlay, Celeste View and all this other stuff would block all of the keyboards. So I could not get to any keyboards on my phone, messages, mail, notes. But it was just this Celeste View and this other garble. And I think Sandhya had the same thing happen at one point.
That again, it's like reassuring that I'm not losing my mind because I heard exactly that. And I was like, is she really saying Celeste, but okay.
I doubt that will ever happen to many people, but if it does, then
And she really is saying Celeste.
This is Sri.
Go Sri.
I think this is definitely something you guys should report to Apple Accessibility so they know that you both have encountered with an iPhone 14. So it might be, to me, Celeste sounds like it's some kind of a background screen.
Sounds like a wallpaper.
Yeah,
like a wallpaper that's overlapping the screen because I do hear the word Celeste sometimes when I see dark space.
Okay.
Yeah, I did the screen recording and they did a log and all that stuff. So hopefully they can figure something out.
Okay, well, I'll do it when I recover from my traumatic experience. So, but normally it's, I've, like I said, done it multiple times and I've never had this kind of problem. But okay, we are getting close to the end. Marie, I wanted to really thank you. Awesome job. We're, welcome aboard. So thank you for being here and facilitate with us.
Well, thank you. I had lots of cooperation and help.
I know they were all so well behaved in the first half, I tell you. So good. Well, no, everybody did great. Everybody had great questions. And that's really what this is. I really love this call because lots of different people are talking and answering questions. And we are thrilled that you are here, part of this whole learning process. Just a quick rundown of this week. Like I said, something every day this week. So tomorrow, Clubhouse Mac Buzz from 5 to 6. Again, all times are central. Wednesdays, Android Insight from 7 to 8:30 on Zoom. Thursday is Trekkie Talk. Friday is iBUG Night at the Virtual Movies. We're watching Fatal Attraction. Okay, it's going to be scary. And then what? Saturday, iBUG Apple Workshop from 2 to 4. And we will have some good stuff there, Apple News and demos and all that good stuff. So I hope you'll join us for any and all of these events. And with that, we will say good night to everyone. Thank you guys for coming. Bye.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Hmm.